flight with Monaco Airlines from Manchester to Venice Marco Polo. There we get the airport bus to Piazzale Roma. The Hotel Arlecchino is within sight of Piazzale Roma, but it turns out that we need to hump our luggage over 2 bridges to get there. The hotel is handily located for some restaurants and cafes. Our room is almost certainly the smallest hotel room we've ever been in. Once settled in, we get the water bus to Lido. In all the times we've been to Venice, we've never visited that island. The route takes us along the Giudecca Canal past the San Basilio terminal, where Royal Clipper will be berthed in 2 days' time. The Doge's Palace coming into view now, and the Campanile in St. Mark's Square. Looking back at Santa Maria della Salute and the entrance to the Grand Canal. Somebody's very expensive private yacht. We've arrived on Lido now, and this is the view back. It seems less hectic than the rest of Venice, and of course there are road vehicles here. Looking out of our hotel window that evening, there's lightning. Next morning, we take the train to Padua. The main purpose of our visit is to see the Scrovegni Chapel and the frescoes by the artist Giotto, completed in 1305. Photography is not permitted inside the chapel, so these images are from the internet. Afterwards, we take a walk around the city. The Café Pedrocchi dates from the 1830s. The Palazzo della Regione has market stalls on the ground floor and an open market on both sides of it. The Cathedral of Padua with its attached baptistry. This is decorated with frescoes painted by Manabuoi about 70 years later than the frescoes in the Scrovegni Chapel. The Palazzo Bo is the centre of the University of Padua. We've completed a circular walk and now we get the tram back to the station. Our last day in Venice. We don't embark the clipper until late afternoon, so we take ourselves off on the Vaporetto along the Grand Canal towards St. Mark's Square. Approaching the Rialto Bridge. Accademia Bridge. Santa Maria della Salute coming up on the right. The Doge's Palace and the Campanile. Looking back, the Giudecca Canal on the left, then Salute and the entrance to the Grand Canal on the right. On dry land now, outside the Doge's Palace. St. Mark's Square. Florian's is one of the two very expensive cafes in the square. We've started our stroll back towards the station, Piazzale Roma and the hotel. Sail away, and our crew has gathered in the tropical bar at the stern of the Royal Clipper. Next day is a full day at sea, sailing down to Kotor in Montenegro. It's an interesting sail along the long inlet towards Kotor. We've been here twice before and it's rained both times. We're at anchor now off Kotor and the morning rain seems to be clearing. The rain soon came back and very hard, so we retired back to the ship drenched. Our companions, however, climbed at least partway up the city walls. Overnight, the Clipper makes the short hop to Dubrovnik, and in the morning we're anchored off the old city. We've bought tickets in advance on the internet for the cable car. The viewing terrace is 400 meters above sea level. At the top there's a museum with an exhibition dedicated to the siege of Dubrovnik in 1991 by the Yugoslav National Army. Back at sea level, we start our exploration of the old walled city, stopping for a very nice lunch near the harbour. The old town was very badly damaged in 1991, but has since been immaculately restored. Sue and Andy have opted to walk the city walls, so they might be up there now. We're outside the walls now. This is the main gate. The Church of St. Blaise dates from 1715. We're back in the old harbour now. And here's our tender coming to take us back to the Clipper. Overnight we sail to Hvar, which is an island between the islands of Korčula and Brač. We're anchoring off the main town, which is also called Hvar. The tender brings us ashore near the main square. There's a fortress up there for Andy to walk up to. We chose to walk just part way up. We're back down now near the harbour. Continuing our stroll away from the town centre, we found a pleasant spot for lunch. Heading back now towards the harbour and the embarkation point for our tender. Our next stop is Rovinja. The old town used to be an island, but it's now connected to the mainland and has the characteristics of a promontory. The bell tower is based on St. Mark's in Venice. Having entered the old town, we're now walking up towards the church. St. Euphemia's church is 18th century, but the bell tower is 17th century. Continuing our walk now through the old town. We found one of Rovinja's old town gates, and going through it we find ourselves in the other harbour. We've found our way back to the tender embarkation point, so we're not lost. Our final port of call should have been Piran, but was switched at the last minute to Koper, a few miles along the coast. But we get a minibus tour to Piran anyway. On the way we stop off overlooking Isola, and in the distance we can see Italy. Piran is a charming fishing port. It has a bell tower modelled on St. Mark's in Venice, which seems to be common in these parts. The statue is of Giuseppe Tartini, an 18th century composer born here. This is his music playing now. A steep walk up the hill brings us to the Church of St. George, built in the early 17th century and much restored in the 1990s and 2000s. And there's St. George himself. Back down at sea level for a coffee and a stroll along the waterfront. back now at the fishing harbour. Returning to Copa, we walk round the old town, starting in the main square. This is the Cathedral of the Assumption, and this is the Praetorian Palace, dating from the late 15th century. This is a former salt warehouse. One of the gates in the old city walls, and this well is intended to look a bit like the Bridge of Sighs in Venice. We're back in the main square, and coming into view is the Venetian Loggia Palace. After leaving Copa, the ship launched 2 of its tenders to take us photographers out to see the ship hoisting its full complement of sails. As always, the sail away was accompanied by Conquest of Paradise by Vangelis.